I first want you to clarify. You're sitting there, and I did this with the audience yesterday. There's some meth and there's a beer. Which do you think it would be better for people to have?
Look, there's no question that methamphetamine and other drugs cause harm to individuals. I think certainly there's a really acute harm for meth users. I've had meth users in my life, and it's really tragic. I think you mentioned yesterday that you've had them in yours too, and really tragic when you see the effect that has on the individual. I think, and alcohol is used by over 80% of New Zealand's population, and most of the time without harm. And
vast majority without harm.
Yeah, it's an obvious answer, isn't it? To the individual, meth has the capability to cause immense acute harm.
Yeah, and to societies and to people. And I was just reading a case this morning, some guy running meth during COVID with his kids in the car. He's got 3 years prison. So isn't it a bit silly, if you're not that keen on the booze, to make that comparison in media coverage? And to be honest, for the Commissioner to bite on it.
Look, I think you were very fair to the Commissioner yesterday. Andy Costa didn't come out with a press release asking for this, and he hasn't advocated strongly for it on his own. It came out as a result of an OIA of his organisation, the police. But I don't think it was unreasonable that within that document, or those documents, there was a presentation which reminded police leaders that, in fact, and it's true, and I believe it, that alcohol is New Zealand's most harmful drug. When you look at the harm to others, not just because of the amount of people that use it, it has a huge amount of harm in terms of labour, crime, diverted resources, healthcare, road crashes, loss of life, etc. So,
what do you base that on? What empirical research?
There's decades of empirical research. There's estimates from, I know you had Eric on, and I always enjoy listening to Eric's analysis of the cost of harm report. There is that cost of harm report. I think it was first done in 2009.
Well, he kind of said it was BS.
Yeah, I'm aware of his view, and he raises some good points. And look, I'm not the author. I'm not here to defend it. I didn't commission it, but it stands to reason that whatever dollar figure you say, and no one argues that there is harm, and every time it has been estimated, it is in the billions. So I'm not going to argue about the quantum of harm, but those costs are felt across state agencies and across health agencies and borne by businesses. Many people, might not turn up to work because of alcohol. That's a lost productivity cost. Or they turn up and they've had an accident on the weekend. They're not as productive. Those sorts of costs have been quantified by economists over the years and others, health researchers. And I think it's fair to say there's no doubt that there is a significant amount of harm to society. Whether we agree on the dollar figure or not is neither here nor there.
So what's the answer?
What Andy raised, and I agree with, to be fair, that Ministry of Justice looked at price. So the Landmark Law Commission review and presented to government in 2010 provided a roadmap of change that would see a reduction in harm. And I think it was significant that Sir Geoffrey Palmer...
Well, no, you're not after a reduction in harm, though, are you? You're after people not drinking.
No, not at all. No.
Then why raise the price except to reduce consumption?
There's really good evidence for the impact of price. So it's been done.
But you're not answering my question. You want people to drink less and stop drinking. They are already, without any price changes. And that isn't a solution. That's simply a prohibition. And we know how that tends to go historically.
We're not arguing for prohibition. We're not a temperance organisation.
Well, what is a price rise designed to do then?
It will affect consumption. And
okay, it's meant to stop people drinking by volume.
Not stop, but certainly it will reduce.
Okay. Which is just prohibition by another name, isn't it?
I disagree, Sean, but look, it's been done overseas and the sky hasn't fallen in. There's still really good hospitality venues in countries where they've got increased excise tax or minimum unit price. Parts of Australia have it. Scotland has minimum unit pricing. It hasn't stopped people drinking altogether. There's still very good industries and people still enjoy themselves. It's not an overly restrictive measure. Look, I quoted to Heather du Plessis-Allen on ZB the night Andy was quoted around, if you imposed an excise tax increase of 82%, which was recommended by the Ministry of Justice in response to the Law Commission review, that would raise a $7 bottle of wine to $8.90. But the savings of an estimated savings of
as long as the poor people
million.
don't drink, Andrew? Let's make alcohol the preserve of the lanyard-wearing bourgeois, shall we?
I certainly wouldn't characterise it like that, Sean.
But that's the outcome. That's what you're doing.
No, it would raise prices across the board. This is just
and well-off people would be able to afford to drink, and the poor would have to live their lives of quiet misery, sort of, anaesthetised.
But an increase on those figures from $7 to $8.90 wouldn't put a bottle of wine out of the market of even people with restricted income.
But I still say to you, at current settings, alcohol consumption, ergo harm in New Zealand, is reducing year on year. So why are we messing with it?
Consumption's never been a measure of harm. Look, we're not.
Well, then how come you're trying to reduce consumption by increasing excise tax? If consumption's never been the measure of harm.
Consumption has been dropping. You're absolutely right for the whole population. What we're not seeing is a reduction in terms of hazardous drinking among.
Aren't we? What do you base that on?
Māori and Pacific. On the New Zealand Health.
Oh,
survey.
God, you're not going to pull that, are you? You're not going to pull disproportionately affecting Māori and Pacific, are you?
It's not pulling. It's a fact.
Give me the facts. Give me the facts. Give me the facts that they're not drinking less along with the rest of the population. What do you base that on?
No, the New Zealand Health. If you let me finish, the New Zealand Health Survey does show a reduction in hazardous drinking across the board, but there is, as you've said, and you've taken issue with, there is a disproportionate impact on Māori and Pacific. So, the important thing in health is to have an equity lens and make sure that when we're seeing a reduction, we're not just seeing it for the wealthy or the well.
You just told me reduction in harms are across the board. That's not disproportionate.
I said there was a reduction in consumption, and I've been really fair in the media. I feel in Radio New Zealand, I say, look, it is a great thing. It's a great thing that we're seeing more no and low alcohol options for people. And I know even in my own friend group and work colleagues, more people are choosing to drink non-alcohol. There's so many more opportunities and products available which are attractive and much, much better than they used to be 15 years ago, that it's a really acceptable and reasonable thing for a group of guys, if they're meeting for a drink after work, to have a non-alcoholic beer. Still enjoy the company and still enjoy being in a hospitality environment, but don't have to worry about the risk of getting caught on the way home using excess breath alcohol, for example. So there's some really good things out there in the community. We're not saying...
So why are we messing with
it's a crisis.
But you're not saying... Let me just get that. You're not saying this is a crisis?
No.
Great.
We've had a problem with alcohol for many years. What Andy's recommended...